Hello YouTube and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at the two-part Goosebumps episode, A Perfect School, and we're going to be finding out what makes it, well, just so perfect. Some of the best horror out there isn't the graphic imagery or loud jarring sounds and jump scares. Yes, jump scares can be scary, but the real horrifying things come from fear itself. You're not scared because of what you're seeing is particularly scary, but the circumstance of it is, or the emotions we feel are because of what we would be thinking about if we was in that situation. The opening scene of this episode does this perfectly. We see a kid crying and screaming at the black shadow figure rushing around his room. We don't know whether it's a ghost or an intruder. We then see a man dressed in all black wearing a balaclava creeping up to Riley's room. In the next shot we see his parents. They look like they're out having dinner, completely oblivious as to what's happening back home. Watching this as a kid, I just remember being so intrigued and scared at the same time. I was shocked at what I was seeing was a children's show. Something like this would never be shown to kids today on TV. I feel like a lot of Goosebumps episodes were pushing the boundaries of what is allowed for children's content, and this episode just hits different. Most other Goosebumps episodes feel campy and they don't have a physical threat like we would see in real life. It's kind of hard to be scared when you can clearly see that what you're watching is fake. I'm not just talking about this scene, but throughout the episode, it's got real threats with real people in a place where you could have anything happen to you and nobody would know. We then cut to a shot of our main character, Brian, who is being sent to a boarding school because he's always playing pranks on his little brother. A bus pulls up and he gets on the bus and there are various other children there, all for different reasons, and they're going to the perfect school. This is where it takes a turn for the worst. When we first arrive at the school, we meet our main antagonist, the headmaster. Something about his attitude and the way he portrays himself just sets an unsettling tone. We see him approach a boy who is being polite and well-mannered and dressed up in a suit. He hands this boy back to his family and something about this interaction just seems off. It feels like they're doing something really strange with the children here. The military-like attitude from everyone there and the bright white background just gives an uncomfortable feeling for us. The fact that the other military boys there are walking around with batons like guards makes us believe that any other boys step out of line, they will be beaten. Sometimes the fear of the unknown and the suspense of what could happen to them makes it more interesting, especially when the following scenes are shot in the dark, making us feel like something bad is about to happen again, but this time it might not be a prank. The same night, he jumps out of his window and goes to the main gate to try and escape. But he quickly realises that the fence is electric, so he goes to try and make a phone call to his mum. The build-up to this phone call is quite intense. He hears a voice and sees shadows of people moving throughout the halls, but we never get to see who they are or what they are doing. It makes us feel like he could be caught at any moment. When he's on the phone, he comes across what look like DNA samples, which just adds to our curiosity. What exactly is he doing with these samples, and how exactly is he brainwashing these children? Before he can explain what's happened to his mum on the phone, he is then overpowered by one of the military dudes there, and our main antagonist, the headmaster, grabs the phone out of his hand and proceeds to talk to his mum on the phone. He looks him dead in the eye when he says, "I will do everything I can to change your son." This makes us feel like whatever he's going to do it right after this phone call. Luckily, he managed to escape and is running through the halls when he enters a room called the nursery. The reason this title is so disturbing is because we've not actually seen any small children in sight, and nothing depicts that there are any small children being there. And I was expecting to see a rainbow-coloured room or a nursery, but it takes a dark turn when we see exactly what is inside. When we enter the room, we see that there is glowing blue lights and almost alien-looking like equipment sitting on shelves. It opens our mind to new possibilities and makes us wonder what all this equipment is doing in a room called the nursery, and what is actually going on here. While Brian is looking through all the weird stuff in the room, he comes face to face with himself. They reveal that he's not actually brainwashing the children, he's cloning them. It opens up so many more questions than I already had, like why is the headmaster cloning children? How is he doing it? And what are they doing with the real children? He then tries to escape with his friend who he met earlier, but it turns out that he's a clone too, and he comes across all the other kids who the headmaster's held captive. Then, just before we get to see what happens to him, we cut to a shot of Brian around the table at home eating dinner with his family, as if nothing happened. Riley, his little brother, makes a comment and says he prefers the old Brian. This makes us think for sure that the Brian that we're seeing is the clone. It's unsettling to think that the real Brian is still locked up back at the school and his family have no idea. It then cuts to the kids who are being held captive by the headmaster, and we see the clone pleading to let him free because the real Brian escaped. This made me wonder if what we just saw was actually Brian. In the next scene, Riley walks into Brian's room with a chair stuck to him, saying that someone put glue on my chair. This is clearly one of Brian's old tricks, and it is revealed that it's the real Brian when we see the glue on the desk and we see that he's actually planning to free all the kids that are being held captive at the perfect school. This episode just goes to show how much you can do with horror, and it doesn't take gory imagery, flashing images, or even jump scares to be scared. You can do it purely through story and emotion. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm Lou, and I'm out.